Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Finali Mondiali 2021. We are live from the Mugello circuit in Tuscany for the glittering world final event, Finali Mondiali, celebrating everything that's brilliant about the prancing horse brand. Of course, it brings to a conclusion our Ferrari Challenge season for 2021, not only in Europe, but also across North America and Asia Pacific as well. And we celebrate such success across not only the Ferrari Challenge, but also the Sportive GT Ferrari races. And of course, we have the XX programs and the F1 Clienti here as well. However, it is Trofeo Pirelli Race 1 and the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Championship still to be concluded. And qualifying has taken place already to set the grid for this afternoon's race, where we feature not only the Europeans, but also the North Americans and the Asia Pacific drivers as well. This is where we are then. Perhaps an hour from Florence, maybe an hour and 10 minutes from Bologna here in the heart of Tuscany. An absolutely gorgeous location for this track, which is a very technical one and one that is difficult for the drivers to get the very best out of, particularly with such a fantastic racing car, the 488 Challenge Evo. 14 or 15 turns, depending upon how you count them, and it is what's known as a technical circuit, where you really are on it all the time, with the exception of the start-finish straight. Then you really are just giving it 100% all the time, and you have very little time to relax in the course of a racing lap. That becomes ever more prevalent when you have some 32 cars on the grid, which is the case for today's Trofeo Pirelli race. So there's some of the corners, some of the chicanes. The air temperature is really lovely, 18 degrees. My goodness, aren't we lucky here in Mugello for this time of the year, with nice temperatures and sunshine as well. Track temperature is 20 degrees. I would have suggested that the conditions are absolutely perfect for racing this afternoon. The mix of Trofeo Pirelli cars and also the Trofeo Pirelli AM cars, and as I mentioned earlier on, they are all intermingled with the various regions that compete in Ferrari Challenge across North America, Asia Pacific and Europe as well. So I mentioned the XX programs and the F1 Clienti as well, which form part of this weekend, as do Club Competizione GT as well. And some drivers, Christian Kinch and Tommy Lindroth, then take to the banking to enjoy the Trofeo Pirelli race. This, meantime, is Competizione GT, Club Competizione GT. Just some of the examples of the wonderful cars from the Ferrari GT heritage that you can see in Club Competizione GT. Absolutely wonderful, and they getting to use the track across the course of the weekend as well. John Vortique that we saw momentarily, and there is the power plant that drives these Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo cars. This is round 7, the final round in the Ferrari Challenge season. We have a race today and a race tomorrow before, on Sunday, world final races, which do not count for the championship, but do count for the honor of being the world champion. Also with us this weekend, we're delighted to welcome from North America, Amanda Busick, who's live on the grid for us.
Good afternoon from Mugello. It is time for race number 1 in Trofeo Pirelli. And if you look behind me, Nicolo Schiro here, he has won 6 out of the last 8 races. If I was a betting person, he might be someone to keep your eye on. I also want to point out the North American competitor of Cooper McNeil, who joins us here this weekend. We talked to him in qualifying, and he said that he left a little bit on the table there. And Cooper, when you know that there's still more to get out of this Ferrari, what do you anticipate during the race?
We'll see. I know a few of these European drivers are still fighting for a championship, so I want to race, hard but respective too. I don't really want to get in their way since my championship's already sealed, but they're still fighting. So, we'll see what happens. I think they're going to be pretty aggressive and kind of let them do their thing, and we'll see. There's still, including this one, 3 races to go this weekend. So still a lot to come.
Well, when you look out of the windshield of the Ferrari at the view here in Mugello, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, I get distracted sometimes. It's like, I love the mountains, so looking out here at the mountains is spectacular. This racetrack's amazing, so happy to be here.
We'll have a nice race, Cooper.
Thank you.
And as we head up the grid in this points championship, Michelle Gating is still leading the points. We talked to her during qualifying, and she wasn't too happy with what she was able to pull off. You have to imagine that some of that energy will be used here as we kick off the race as she looks for redemption. And then you got to give it up for Luca Nurmi, who gets his 3rd pole of the season, looking for his 3rd win. I guess we have a little bit of time with Luca, but Luca, you were all smiles on the qualifying. What's next for the race here, bud?
Yeah, I'm really happy to start from here, and yeah, I will do my best to win this race, and then I can do champagne.
The youngest driver on the grid here looks to take the checkered flag. It's going to be an exciting race. I can't wait to share it with you, gentlemen.
Very much looking forward to it, and Luca Nurmi doing a very good job. He put the car on pole position. Delighted to welcome alongside me a fine GT driver, Davide Rigon, who not only, of course, is hugely competitive in GT racing, but also can be seen in F1 cars as well. Davide, good afternoon. Welcome. First and foremost, I must say to you, 2021, a difficult year for you because you sustained a blooming injury, didn't you?
Yes, good afternoon to everybody. Welcome here in Mugello. So yes, it was a tough year for me, but now I'm nearly fully recovered, so all good. I started quite well my season, but then in Spa I had this crash that luckily we come home quite in good shape. That I lose Le Mans, I lose a lot of important race for me, but anyway, now I'm full focus to come back in good shape, and my next race will be very soon, will be Kyalami, so I'm ready for it.
Very young driver. He's put the car on pole position, not for the first time this season, and sometimes perhaps me and others like me don't give enough credit to the drivers in the Ferrari Challenge in Trofeo Pirelli. Boy, there's some talent, Davide.
Yes, of course. He did a very good lap time, and to be there, he's for sure a very good driver, and we will see him a lot of time in the future, and let's see how he managed the race today.
Thank you, Davide. We'll be talking to Davide during the course of the race. He'll be giving us a racing driver's insight into what's going on track. We'll be bringing you the grid in full in just a few moments. We heard from Claudio Garavini, our race director, who, of course, oversees everything during the course of the 30-minute race. 30-minute race is considered a sprint race, of course, and when you've got some 32 cars on this Mugello track, and it's a very, very technical circuit. And Davide, technical circuit means, sorry to bring you back in immediately, but it's a difficult track on which to overtake, isn't it?
Yes, it's a difficult track. It's up and downhill. There is a lot of change of level. There is a very high-speed corner. Actually, there is only 2 quite slow corners, and you have the chance to overtake, which is T1 and a little bit the T15. So there maybe we could see some action, but anyway, the race is 30 minutes. It's pretty tough for the driver because normally every small mistake could cost a lot here. And of course, nothing to say, Mugello is one of the best tracks in the world to drive, and I love to drive here personally.
We're going through the grid. We've seen Luca Nurmi, Michel Gatting, Nicola Skiro, Cooper McNeil, Frederick Paulsen, Luca Ludwig, Christian Brunsberg and Thomas Neubauer. Then we find Darian Pin and Christian Podoliccio. Enzo Podoliccio, father, is next on the grid with Sergio Paulet. Then it's Marco Pulcini and John Vortique. They go from P13 and 14. Hugo Delacour and Angibardi then are on the 8th row of the grid. Expect some overtaking to come from Angibardi, potentially from row 8. Jason McCarthy and Roman Zimian share row 9. And then it's Hans Siggins from the UK and Gaisin Chin are on the 10th row of the grid. Arno Dahlmeier and John Haresti, they're P21 and P22. Thomas O'Rourke and AEC go from row 12 on the grid. Hanno Laskovsky and Niccolo Rossi. Niccolo Rossi looked very, very good in qualifying. They're on the 13th row of the grid. Brian Davis is not where he would want to be because he had an off in quali, and Roger Grols is alongside him. Then it's Han and Jackson then who go from P29 and P30. With Oliver Plasman and Faisal Al Faisal from the UK bringing up the rear of the pack. We're on board with the Richard Mills safety car then, as the cars are running towards the start of this race. Of course, it is always a rolling start in the Ferrari Challenge. We're on board with Enzo Potoliccio, then the Trofeo Pirelli AM1 driver from Ferrari Challenge North America, and Stefano Guy looks on as we see Nicolo Skiro then, Rosso Corsa racer who still has the chance, mathematic, to win the championship potentially. He needs Michel Gatting to fall over somewhat, and she is going from P2 on the grid, and Nicolo Skiro is one place behind, going from P3. Cooper McNeil has already said he wants to be respectful of the championship and keep out of everyone's way, and the marshal advises all the cars to grid up in side-by-side formation, ready for the start of this Trofeo Pirelli race. The safety car will peel off into the pit lane, and then it will be the responsibility of this man to press the lights on the gantry, which go from red to green. So stand by, hold on to your hats, and get ready and look forward to a 30-minute race from the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. The cars are entering the final corner on their formation lap. So the lights go out, let's go racing. Nicolo Skiro trying to put himself between Michel Gatting, but look at Frederick Paulsen. He's coming from the 3rd row of the grid. He's put himself alongside Nicolo Skiro, 3 abreast going into turn number 1. I don't think so. So Frederick Paulsen then, the best of the starters, and Michel Gatting going backwards. Thomas Neubauer is making moves as well as he tries to fight his way through the packed field of cars. So it's Michel Gatting that is being mugged here. Christian Brunsberg goes through as well. Christian Brunsberg is the best of the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Luca Nurmi, though, whilst all heck was breaking out behind, he just concentrated on nailing his start, and he did so very, very well. And Nicolo Skiro finds himself in P2. It's Frederick Paulsen, P3. Then it is Michel Gatting ahead of Christian Brunsberg. So there is Michel Gatting, as you can see, with Christian Brunsberg chasing behind. Then it is Thomas Neubauer. Neubauer being very, very keen in the early stages of this race to get by as many cars as he possibly can. And Christian Brunsberg will be a nuisance to him. There is no question about that. But what a start from Frederick Paulsen. What a start from our pole sitter, Luca Nurmi. Going around turn 1 with that amount of cars, Davide Rigon. Fair play to them. They did it very cleanly.
Yes, so nice to see a lot of car and a lot of respect on track. We saw in free side-by-side in the first corner, but no any contact. It was a hard start, but no contact. So very well start, good start from Nicolo Skiro, starting from P4 to going to P2, and clean, I have to say.
You're absolutely right. So into the final turn they do to put the first lap of this 30-minute race into the book then. And Luca Nurmi then, who did all the hard work in qualifying and put it on pole position, is being chased down by Nicolo Skiro. To keep his championship hopes alive, Nicolo Skiro has just got to win. He's got to get as many points as possible. He has said that he's not in it for the championship chase. He's in it for the world final race on Sunday. Michel Gatting, you can see, is frustrated behind Frederik Poulsen is flashing her lights, trying to get Frederik Poulsen to make a small mistake to allow Michelle Gatting to regain places that she has lost right at the start of this race. But at the moment, Frederik Poulsen is able to show her a clean pair of heels. Michelle said in free practice she really had the pace in the car. She felt there was more to come in qualifying, which she was just not able to deliver. And now she can see she has 3 cars ahead of her, which is not what she wants. She is a hard, feisty racer and held up theoretically by Frederik Poulsen here, but Frederik Poulsen has done a good job right at the start of the race. He was bold, he was boisterous, and he was prepared to put the car where other people were not, and finds himself in that P3 position. Best of the AM drivers is Christian Bunsborg. He's P6 overall. Then it's Enzo Potolicchio and Sergio Bowlett, who is third in class. And on the left-hand side of your screen, if the number position is coloured red, that means they're a Trofeo Pirelli driver. If it's white, they're a Trofeo Pirelli AM driver. Michelle Gatting then a Trofeo Pirelli driver, not even in a podium place. She is in P4, and we've got a safety car, Davide.
Yeah, safety car. We saw also on the past race that here there is a lot of gravel, so it's very easy when a driver go out. It's very difficult to recover. So for safety, of course, it's better to take the safety car. But for now, we don't see anything. But for sure, the race director so better than us. Before of this race, I was there for the Copa Shell,
yeah,
and that was pretty nice to see how many things they have to check. All the track, yeah, we saw the 99.
I think that's Omar Jackson. I think he might be the cause of the safety car. It's between turns 5 and 6.
As we see, maybe a contact either.
So poor old Omar Jackson then, what a shame. Such a good driver, and Omar has really upped his driving during the course of his season in Ferrari Challenge. He was clearly waiting there just to say hello to someone as they went past, so he'll feel wronged. I don't think there was any contact there, was there? I think he went round on his own, Davide?
Yes, looks like he lost the car on entry in T4. I don't know if I have any contact when. Then he tried to rejoin, but he was not able to do the maneuver. So I think it's just his fault. Maybe at the beginning of the race the tire was not properly warm. It was just a small mistake on the curve.
It's very easy, isn't it? Because you're on a knife edge of grip, and everyone that I have spoken to, Davide, says that at Mugello, even with the track temperature where it is, it takes more than 1 lap to get the tyres up to operating temperature.
Yes, of course, take time, because anyway the air is pretty cold in the morning. It's pretty cold here, and remember we don't have the heater for the tires, so
sure,
we need a couple of laps. Of course, we are racing, so in the beginning everybody are pushing flat out.
Yeah.
And maybe he was more focused to look in the front to try to take advance, and he don't think about the balance of the car, and he lost it anyway safely. So this is good.
Here's a replay of the start then, as we can see 3s and 4 cars abreast going into turn number 1. And I have to say, I think Frederik Poulsen, he was on a mission here, wasn't he? And he was very determined, put himself alongside Nicolo Schiro. And for my money, the driver that got mugged there really was Michelle Gatting, and Thomas Neubauer was also on the move as well. 3 abreast around the opening turn number 1. The one who was not impacted at all was Luca Nurmi, who just took that P1 position and converted it into P1 in the race as well by just concentrating and focusing on what he needed to do. So Giorgio Senegiotto there we could see watching on. He acts as driver coach. He himself is a very successful GT racer. We're on board with Nicolo Schiro, who is P2 at the moment. Let's go into the pit lane now with Amanda Busick.
Well, one of the things that I saw on that, the start of the race, was looking at the Potolicchios. Christian actually started ahead of his father. He outpaced him in qualifying, but experience will show on these starts of where you end up falling into the pace with all the cars around you. It's Christian's first ever race in this format. He did lose a couple positions on that start. Imagine that as he has more time in the seat, he'll get better at those starts, but he'll have another opportunity coming up here underneath his safety car.
Thanks, Amanda. The color codes then for Europe, they're red. For North America, they're blue. For Asia Pacific, they are yellow. And we can see everyone looking on from the pit wall, of course, studying data. And to be fair, with the safety car so early on for the stricken Omar Jackson car, which they will recover very quickly, and we will get back to racing. A Of course, drivers now at this safety car intervention, Davide, they'll be thinking about maintaining heat, using the brakes to try and generate some temperature out of the brakes onto the rims, and then of course onto the tires as well.
Yes, of course they're trying to warm up the brake and keep the tires clean, because when you go slow it's very easy to take the pickup and lose grip from the tires. So of course they try to warm it up and prepare and thinking how to prepare the start of the restart of the safety car, that I think will be maybe on this lap, because I don't see any car on track.
Well, just to give you an update on the points as they stand, if we were to take the points photograph now as Johnny Lawson, then former Ferrari Challenge driver, looks on, Michel Gatting would finish on 161 points, Nicolo Schira on 136, which means he would be 25 points behind. In Trofeo Pirelli Am Europe, Sergio Paolo on 147, Christian Brunsburg will be on 139, therefore a difference of 8. And in Trofeo Pirelli Am 2 for North America, Brian Davis on 140, Kei-Sin Chen would be on 130, so a 10-point difference. And Davide, safety car in this lap, as you predicted.
Yes, we don't see any car on track, so nice that we go racing again. We saw Luca, he was using a strategy to be very, very slow, to take a big space from the safety car, but the safety car has slowed down even more, so now everybody has much slower. Maybe he want to prepare the last corner to go faster outside of the corner alone, but
because there is a real art, isn't there, Davide, that if you're P2 on a safety car restart, you've got to try and anticipate when the car ahead of you is going to go. Of
course, because I remember in Mugello we have a long straight, and the slipstream is very important. So it's important for him to don't give the slipstream to Nicolo Schira.
Well, Frederick Paulson anticipated when Nicolo Schira was going to go, perhaps better than Nicolo did in terms of Luca Nurmi. As we're about to go green once again. Let's go back to racing then. Yes, the green flags fly. And this is Trofeo Pirelli across Europe, North America and Asia Pacific. We're live from Mugello, and following that safety car phase, Luca Nurmi is leading from Nicolo Schira and Frederick Paulson. Best of the AM drivers as the Charles Posse Courage driver Thomas Neubauer tries to find his way by Michel Gatting. The best of the AM drivers is Christian Brunsburg, ahead of Enzo Potolicchio and Sergio Paulet. Luca Nurmi runs to the very edge of the curbs and kicks up a few bits of gravel. And Michel Gatting reignites that fight with Frederick Paulson ahead of her in the number 98 car for Formula Racing. So Michel Gatting then desperately trying to get by Frederick Paulson, but of course she doesn't want to leave herself vulnerable to the hard-charging Thomas Neubauer, who is right behind. So Nurmi and Schira are beginning to escape up the road a bit, and they have seemingly better pace in the cars than those that are following from Frederick Paulson, Michel Gatting and Thomas Neubauer. Somebody else kicking up a bit of dust then, and there is Michel Gatting, championship leader. And if it finished the way it is at the moment, there would be exactly 25 points between Nicolo Schira and Michel Gatting. So Michel will be disappointed with the way that the start went. She was disappointed with the way that Quali went earlier on today. Felt that she didn't match the pace that she had in the free practice sessions. And Frederick Paulson was just so bold and aggressive right at the start of the race. He just went for it and finds himself in that P3 position. We can see from race control that the safety car period is under investigation. When we get a message like that, Davide, for someone that has been in race control, what does it mean that the period is under investigation?
That happens also the race before, that maybe when there was the safety car, start the safety car, maybe some driver in the middle of the field, they overtake the other car. So when it was already safety car before he saw. And so maybe they need to double check the line when they decide to safety car, and maybe that is under investigation. And of course, normally it's the team that report this, because when they see they lose one position during safety car, they got very upset. So they reported the race control.
Well, we will see if anything comes of that investigation. Meantime, Michel Gatting continues her pursuit of Frederick Paulson, and Nicolo Schira, for my money, is getting just a little bit closer to Luca Nurmi. And the reason for that is he's just done the fastest first sector of anybody. So Nicolo Schiro on a charge. Also on a charge here is Michel Gatting. So these are very interesting battles for us to watch and to see how they play out. As you can see, Nicolo Schiro going as far off the curbs as he dares. And track limits is something that is not to be exceeded, and you will be punished. If you do, you get a couple of warnings, maybe 3 warnings. However, as we get another safety car now, that looks like John Bortique.
Already out of the car, so maybe it's just grab. Maybe 2 drivers.
Perhaps it's Oliver Plassman, actually. So just looking, it's actually the treble 2 car is showing us in strife on our, and that's Enzo Potolicchio.
Huh?
Yeah.
So he did
neither
a very
of the
good
drivers,
start.
I thought. Yeah, absolutely. But it was actually in the same place as Omar Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, no, there's more than one. So it is John Bortique. I was, thankfully, David, I said something right. It was John Bortique involved, and that's quite a coming together, because there was 2 cars, wasn't there?
2 cars.
Well,
But they are not in the same category, actually.
let's see what happened. On board with Potolicchio, then.
I got it.
Oh, my goodness me. So John Bortique right across the front of him.
We need to see from outside because it's difficult to.
Okay, John Bortique then. Such a shame, such a good driver. And a discussion going on, Davide. And
Yeah, it's something that could happen on the race, but even for Potolicchio, it was not easy to see a car that dive in on that place. For experience, I tell you, it's downhill corner, and to overtake there, it's not that easy. It's not a place that you can overtake.
well, maybe we will see another replay of that, because as you say, if we saw it from a different angle, we might be able to understand a bit easier, a bit better what happened.
Maybe it's a free car involved.
Possibly. I wondered whether Potolicchio took a hit from behind.
Let's have a look later.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, the stewards will be looking at it. There is Luca Ludwig, I should mention. Luca Ludwig, who is currently running P8 in Class P9 overall. There's another. That's Enzo. That's Enzo then, looking very, very disappointed.
Yeah, because he was a P2 on the class.
Yeah.
He was doing a good start, a good position. Then I think he got with John Voltic, he got the heat.
See, because there is another car there, Roman Zimian,
Yes.
who is potentially, I'm not saying, is at the bottom of our timing screen with an S against, which means stopped.
Yeah.
Could be completely something separate, but we are just trying to put some text to the story that we think.
I think it will take a little bit longer here because there was a 2 or 3 car involved. So.
And they were also into the barrier, so
Yes.
the integral safety of the barriers has to be checked as well.
As well, yes, and then they need to lift the car. So I think it will take 5-10 minutes.
Okay, so stand by because we'll be giving you the potted history of Davide Rigon's fantastic racing career from the start back in
99, I started with karting.
Old as me, no chance, no chance. So, okay, you can tell me the truth now. Surely, Davide, it must be, as a young, up-and-coming racing driver as you were, to have the aspiration and the dream to drive officially as a Ferrari driver, to win, to get that opportunity. Number one, you've got to be brilliant.
Yes.
Number two, to get that opportunity, it must be a dream come true.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, of course, because my first work in Ferrari was to be the first driver. I started with working on the simulator already 2010, so now it's already 10 years. So together with the Scuderia Ferrari and then Ferrari Competizione GT.
Yep.
So it was a big dream on the beginning, but even now, every time I drive this amazing car is something special. I was so proud to drive together with James Calado, Sam Bird, English driver that really enjoy every moment with them. And so it's nice to drive an amazing car and you drive together with an amazing driver. So
and
it's nice.
You do get the opportunity, Davide, to drive Formula One cars, don't you, in demonstrations and exhibitions. And you know, from our commentary studio here, as I've watched you on many occasions driving a Formula One car, you know, I can't see the smile on your face, but I imagine it's from ear to ear because they are just phenomenal, aren't they?
Yes, to drive a Formula One is something special. The power that you have and the brake efficiency, everything, the downforce is something amazing.
Well done, Davide.
I had the opportunity to do the young driver test in the 2013 and 12. So that was part of my part of my story and my heart. So always thinking about and always now is amazing to be part of the team, to drive on the simulator, to prepare the race for the Scuderia Ferrari. And we really hope to have some more win. We are pushing for that, of course. But even I have to say to drive our GT3 or GT on the world. Around the world is something special. The engineer putting so much effort that even our GT cars now start to be very, very nice to drive.
Of course. Thank you, Davide. Right, let's go down into the pit lane where Amanda Busick has been waiting very patiently for us.
Cars head into turn 3 here at Mugello. You have to wonder what's going through the mind of Luca Nurmi and Nicola Schiro. Two different situations here. Here you have Luca, a younger guy, leading the pack of all these cars behind him as he gets more seat time, more experience. He's looking for his 3rd win of the season and just his 3rd pole position to kick off this race. But Nicola Schiro, what a story here this season. He didn't contest in the first 4 races, but of the last 8 races, he has won 6. You have to imagine he would be in this points battle if he was there at the first 4 races. But I imagine this restart for Schiro. Luca might want to keep an eye in his rearview mirror. I think he's battling for some pride here in Mugello.
Well, there is no question about it, and the fair point that you make that Luca got the restart nailed absolutely perfectly last time around. Let's see if he's able to do the same. No word yet when the safety car is coming in, but as Davide explained, with a couple of cars involved in that, into the barriers as well. Well, just as I say that, Davide, you've got the magic touch. You clicked your fingers, and it tells us that the safety car is coming in at the conclusion of this lap. There is Cooper McNeil. And Cooper McNeil is currently running in P7 in Class P8 in overall. So if Luca Nurmi can do the same as he did last time around for this safety car restart, it'd be a jolly good job, wouldn't it?
Yes, he did a perfect restart before, and let's see if he's able to do again the same, because Nicola Schiro, the last lap before the safety car, he was getting closer. Let's see now. Really side by side. So I think he got a bit upset, Nicola, to go so slow. But his strategy, he can do it. So we need to stay. He need to stay behind the leader in this moment.
You could just see the focus on Nicola Schiro there, trying to anticipate when Luca Nurmi's going to go for it. I think he's done a better job of it this time around, Nicola Schiro. I mean,
yeah, he's looking a bit closer, but still. Luca Nurmi, now he's a bit closer, but should be okay.
Yes, so away we go then, and Thomas Neubauer, for the second time of asking, wants to try and convert this P5 into P4. He's got Michel Gatting ahead, and Luca Nurmi leads us away then as we go back to racing with only just under 9 minutes. Nicola Schiro getting a real hurry up into turn number 1. And really beginning to pressure Luca Nurmi in the early stages of this restart. Nurmi will make the car as wide as possible to try and prevent Nicola Schiro from coming through. Meantime, Thomas Neubauer is certainly up in the ante to Michel Gatting also. So lots of battles going to be going on here throughout not only Trofeo Pirelli, but Trofeo Pirelli AM as well. Here comes Neubauer trying to find a way by Michel Gatting. And of course, Nicola Schiro is still pushing Luca Nurmi really hard, but Luca Nurmi appears to have it all under control. There's a drive-through penalty for car number 267 for overtaking under the safety car. That will be why that was being looked at, presumably, as Davide had intimated. So that car will be having to take a drive-through penalty. So that will be why safety car period was under review, Davide.
Yes, of course. Maybe on the middle of the field, somebody have a overtake. Maybe we don't see on the screen, but for sure the race director saw it because they have it all under control. And actually, yeah, it's something that you cannot do. Safety car is for safety, and you cannot gain advance.
So the Ferrari of Vancouver driver John Horessi. Oh my goodness me!
Gosh.
He gets a drive-through penalty. That is a big incident for somebody. It's is it Marco Pulcini? No, that's the 267 car, isn't it? Of Horessi, who we were just talking about.
Yes.
No, it isn't the number 27 car.
And the 267.
Oh, okay.
Cars. Here is Panalone and.
And just, I mean, to be fair, where could he go?
No, yes.
Oh my goodness! So it is the number 27 car, Marco Pulcini.
Nothing you can do there.
You know, when you're unsighted like that, Davide, which you are, aren't you? You know, at the speed you're going.
From it's also a big downhill. Maybe you don't see it from television, but in reality, it's really downhill and nearly blind. So it's not easy. And there is just one line. You carry on so much speed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he spun there, maybe because of cold tires.
That, Davide, is what we always want to see. Marco Pulcini is walking away from the car. I have to say, and you had a lot to do with the design of the 488 Challenge Evo car, and that is that as AC is involved in it as well, Alessandro Cotti. The design of this 488 Challenge Evo car with the integral safety, which is very, very good, isn't it? And I know you as racing drivers all had your input into what you could do to make a racing car as safe as possible.
Yes, Ferrari especially is doing an amazing job for the safety. And yeah, we saw often now how big crash we saw with the 488 Challenge Evo. And luckily, no big issues. So this is very important, and what we feel as a driver, we feel safe to race with these cars.
So all drivers are perfectly okay. We also saw that Tommaso Rocca was involved in that. As well. So a number of cars involved, and never want to see that. But of course, inevitably, sometimes accidents happen, and that is precisely what it was. Just completely unsighted, had nowhere to go, and therefore there was contact between Tommaso Rocca and Marco Pulcini, and also involved in that was AC. We've seen AC. Alessandro Cotti was limping around, and that looks like fluid gone down on the
fluid, yes.
On the track.
I don't know if there will be a short restart because there is a lot of fluid. I don't know if it's oil or water. Maybe water because it was the heat. It was on the front from the radiator.
To be fair, Davide, with only 5 minutes on the clock.
Yes, maybe that's it. I don't know.
I don't reckon they're going to be able to recover
something very fast like before. The Marshall did an amazing job before, but now they need to clean a little bit that place that we remember is Arrabbiata 1, and it's a very fast place.
Let's go down to the pit lane. Here's Amanda Busick for us.
Well, Nicholas is feeling many roles here this weekend, and on the grid you're watching this race, but as a former driver in this series, 6 minutes left in this race, what's going through a driver's mind?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, it's for once exciting to be on the other side of the pit wall, and yeah, it's been quite a hectic race, to be honest, a lot of action, so yeah, the safety car has been deployed for the 3rd time in the race, I think, so yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
What do you find most challenging at Mugello?
It's a combination of a few things. I mean, obviously there is some fast corners, Arrabbiata 1 and 2, and then a technical part coming into T1. So yeah, it's a tricky track, especially with this car. There's a lot of horsepower behind, and yeah.
Is there a position on the track that you would prefer? Obviously, there's a lot of traffic. How do you approach the strategy of a race like this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for a sprint race like this, it's always important to have a good qualifying and start in the front, and then obviously try to get away already from the start and keep the competition behind. So I think that would be the strategy for a sprint race.
And you got some seat time in this series as well. For your experience in racing and the Ferrari challenges, how has it helped you in your career?
Sorry, I didn't get the last part.
How is racing in the Ferrari challenge? How did that help you in your career?
Yeah, I mean, in looking at that, it really helped me because, I mean, I started, my first actual race with Ferrari was on this very track, and yeah, already the year after I had a factory contract, so the Ferrari Challenge was basically what kickstarted professional career. So thanks to the Ferrari Challenge, I'm where I am today.
Thank you, Nicholas. Great to see you this weekend.
Thank you.
So Nicholas Nielsen, who was on the air with us earlier on today, fine driver and of course very much a Ferrari Challenge champion. And there we can see the Christian Portolicchio car that is there. And all the cars behind the safety car. I have to say, my opinion is that this race is probably going to end behind the safety car because we only have 2.5 minutes on the clock remaining. A lap time here is, you know, in the 150s. Just don't see that we're going to get another racing lap in because I think there was, number one, there's fluid on the track. Number two, there's debris across the track as well, which has got to be swept up. I completely concur with what you say, Davide Rigon, and that is that they work terribly hard. You can see that car being recovered already. Perhaps I'm wrong here. Perhaps we will get one lap.
Super good Marshall here, very fast. We saw all through the week, but as we see, they're putting down the filler, we call in Italy, to dry up the fluid. I don't know if we have time now. I mean, so maybe we have, I don't know, we'll be tight.
No, there's still too much debris, I think.
Yes. Now for safety, I don't think.
No, that's a great shame. Never. You know, and as a racing driver, if you're P1, Davide.
Of course, you want to stay there and don't drive.
But actually, does it? And you've won races when you've been behind the safety car.
Yes.
Does it still feel like a race win?
Well, in the end, yes.
Right, let's go back to Amanda Busick before Davide hits me. And she's live now for us in the pit lane.
Well, if this ends under safety, I do want to point out the performance of Christian Portolicchio. When I spoke to Enzo and Christian earlier in the week, his dad was already full of tears about his son competing here this weekend. They kicked off this race, father and son duo on this track. You can imagine it was an emotional moment for Enzo, but how much more emotional it's going to be that his son will take the top set in the Pirelli AM1 for North America. I can imagine this will be a memory shared between the two that they'll talk about for years and years ahead.
Thanks very much, Amanda. So it looks ever more likely that we are going to finish the race behind the safety car because we only have 30 seconds remaining, and by my calculations, with Michel Gatting finishing P4 and Nicolo Schiro finishing P2, I think Michel Gatting will have done enough to become the Trofeo Pirelli champion. Don't quote me yet. I think so. I think so. Davide is furiously working on his pocket calculator now. You can probably hear him.
I trust you.
There's Stefano Guy looking on, and
final lap. But
yeah.
I think they need to do one lap. I don't know now the rules on the safety car. Normally is complete the timing plus one lap.
Oh, I see.
No, maybe it's the final lap. No, it's the final lap. Yes.
Oh, goodness. So there we have it then, the Trofeo Pirelli race finishing behind the safety car. You know, that big crash, but let me say, absolutely all the drivers are all perfectly okay. So safety car into the pit lane, and all the drivers cross the finish line, and the checkered flag flies. It's Luca Nurmi from Nicolo Schiro and Frederick Paulsen. And for the AM drivers, it's Christian Brunsburg and Gabbardi, who I said could do some overtaking in this race. My goodness, has done so. Finishes P2 in AMS, and Sergio Paula. Now for the North American drivers, it's going to be Cooper McNeil, and also it's going to be Christian Portolicchio, Jason McCarthy, and Brian Davis. So there we have it then, a race affected by safety cars. And sometimes with the number of cars that you've got on track, that's kind of inevitable. But Luca Nurmi, he'll be happy, he'll take it, of course he will. And there is Michel Gatting, who, as I say, from our calculations, we believe has done enough to become the Trofeo Pirelli champion. And deservedly so, she has driven very, very hard during the course of the season, and has been crowned a Trofeo Pirelli champion. Of course, she will go all out now to win the World Final race, which is on Sunday. We say a big thank you to Davide Rigon, who's got to go off for other duties now. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, and see you soon.
Yeah, looking forward. Thank you very much. Davide Rigon, and best wishes for Kai Alami in a very short while when his fine racing career will resume. Luca Nurmi then has taken the win, and you can see Formula Racing very, very happy about that. And the flag then for Luca Nurmi, and there is Luca Ludwig that we could see there. And Ghibardi then, who, as I said, did a lot of overtaking during the course of that race in terms of European AM drivers, finishing P2. There's the unmistakable livery of Brian Davis from North America. And there's Nicolo Schiro as all the cars make their way through the shortcut here in Mugello into the pit lane and the Parc Ferme area. And there he is, Nicolo Schiro. His focus since joining the season after the first 2 rounds has been on the World Final race, which will be here on Sunday. And that's the one he and Rosso Corsa really want to win. Will he be able to do it? Well, we'll find out on Sunday. Top step of the podium, we're going to see Luca Nurmi and Nicolo Schiro and Frederick Porsche. So for Formula Racing, it's going to be P1 and P3. And there is Christian Bronsborg, who of course takes the win in Trofeo Pirelli AM as well. So all told, it's a very, very good afternoon for Formula Racing. And there is our race winner, Luca Nurmi. Holding the flag. And lots of photographs as well being taken before the drivers will be hustled off up to the podium, of course. And here comes Ghibardi then, who, as I said, did a lot of overtaking. Wasn't always seen to us. Or the Côte d'Azur can maybe fast team. Delighted. Well done. Fine racing. So we're going to head back down to the pit lane, and it's going to be Luca Nurmi who receives the attentions of Amanda Busick now.
Oh, and he's received the attention from his team already. I could only see the smile underneath the helmet, how big that was. But, Luca, when you look back on this race from start to finish, what are you going to take from this win that you can use tomorrow?
I think it was a nice race because it was mostly behind safety car, so it was quite a Sunday driving. But when there were no safety car, they had no chance.
The 3rd win on your season. Talk about your growth as a driver in 2021.
Yeah, it was a big jump to me to come from Northern European Porsche Cup, which is quite a small championship, to here, but I think it was a good option.
Congratulations, enjoy the top step.
Thank you.
Well done, Luca Nurmi, then. He will be delighted with that.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to him after his success at the Nürburgring. Right now, here is the pit show to enjoy. Here then, the category, the top three for Trofeo Pirelli: Luca Nurmi, Nicolo Schiro, and Frederick Paulsen. For Trofeo Pirelli Am, Christian Brunsborg, Angie Bardi, and Sergio Paola. As we enjoy the highlights in just a few moments. The Trofeo Pirelli Am 1, it's Christian Portolicchio ahead of Jason McCarthy and Enzo Portolicchio. And Trofeo Pirelli Am 2, Brian Davis, Keesin Chin, and John Arezzi. And okay, time to look at the highlights of that race then. Here they are, enjoy. The highlights then of Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. Here are the race statistics then, and Han then did the best progress, overtaking 12. I rather thought that was going to be Angie Bardi, to be honest. Thomas Neubauer made 3 over best progress in terms of going 3 places in Trofeo Pirelli. Fastest lap, Luca Nurmi for the Pirelli drivers. Fastest lap for the Am drivers, Christian Brunsborg. Right now, we're going to head up to our celebratory podium.
Frederick Paulsen.
P3 goes to Frederick Paulsen for Trofeo Pirelli.
Seconda posizione per Nicolo Schiro.
Nicolo Schiro then, whose championship charge has come to an end. He goes to P2. And from Finland, Luca Nurmi on the top step of the podium for P1.
Inno nazionale.
So we await the Finland national anthem. Here it is. Has to be said, our national anthems haven't been without their problems today. Oh, it's back.
Ok, facciamo sfumare l'inno nazionale, chiamiamo il nostro ospite premiatore, pilota
one of our
GT, Miguel Molina, che consegna
competizione GT drivers making the trophy presentation, and this afternoon it's Miguel Molina. He makes the trophy presentation to Frederick Paulsen, then to Nicolo Schiro.
Vincitore Luca Nurmi, chiamiamo anche Gianfranco Vaccari che consegna per Pirelli al vincitore.
And of course to Luca Nurmi.
Trofeo Pirelli. Miguel, scusa, ti vogliamo assieme anche a Gianfranco sul podio. Tutti sul podio per questa foto, all together for this picture. Tutti sul podio, alziamo i trofei, lift your trophy up.
So
Okay. Thank you very much.